Hi guys, it's Fightsci here with yet another video, and today we're going over one of the best fighters of my generation, Vasiliy high-tech Lomachenko. Let's break him down. But before I do that, let me cover a couple of misnomers about Lomachenko, since A, I'm a big fan, and B, I feel like he gets a lot of flack that he doesn't really deserve. Now for the first one, is Loma overrated? Now I would believe the answer to that would probably be no if you're unbiased. I'm going to go over this in one of my next points, but basically, just to read you off some of his accomplishments, because I pretty much know all of his pro accomplishments like the back of my hand. The man is 13-3 in world title fights. That's 16 world title fights. He only has 20 pro fights, so he's won 80% of the world title fights he's been in. He's beaten 2 Hall of Famers by my estimation. He's beaten Guillermo Rigondeaux and Jorge Linares. I believe both those guys have a strong case for Hall of Fame, first or second ballot. The man became a 3-division world champion in only 12 pro fights. The man is tied for the man is tied for the fastest to become a world champion. He's tied for the least amount of fights to become a 3-division world champion, and he currently holds the record of the fastest to become a 2-division world champion. And when I see Loma doesn't have enough pro fights. Now, to answer this question, there's a couple of Japanese boxers. I don't remember their names at the moment. I apologize, and I wish I had their names on hand. But there's a couple of Japanese boxers that have very little pro fights, but at least like 10 championship fights. And that's kind of Lomachenko. The guy's been pro for over a decade, and he only has 20 pro fights. But literally over 80% of them are world title fights. I think out of the guy's whole career, his pro debut and only 3 of his fights after his initial title reign were not championship fights, So, and the reason for that, and I'm going to get into this segues well into my next point. Yes, this is one of my favorite ones about Lomachenko. The other ones you can chalk up to people being either casuals or just not understanding how boxing works. But this one is really funny because, a lot of, I just did a breakdown on him, and I'm glad I only probably have to talk about him once more after this. But a lot of Haney fans like to say that Loma was, quote-unquote, gifted a world title shot in his second pro fight, which is utter horse shit. The man is not only one of the best amateurs of all time, which he already had the skills of a pro, he just wasn't used to the pro style, but he already had a continental belt in his first pro fight, so he was already high up the hierarchy in the rankings of the WBO in his first pro fight. So to say he was gifted a title shot against Orlando Salido is kind of bullshit, irrespective of the outcome of that fight. And the final one, which I feel will ruffle the most feathers, do Loma's losses seriously affect his career? Now, this is very subjective, but you may say I'm a little biased, but I would have to say no. Now, the reason for this is, even though he has lost 3 times, he has, never been dominated in any 3 of his losses, not like an Errol Spence or any of those guys, or an Adrian Broner or anything. He has never been dominated in any one of his losses, and I feel like at least the Haney fight has to be his most closely contested fight on the scorecard. So it's pretty much it. I'm probably not gonna, unfortunately, in this video cover his early life or amateur career, because covering Lomachenko's amateur career is a video in of itself, and I'm gonna save that for another video at a later date, and I'm gonna kind of familiarize myself with the amateur style. This video's already kind of getting long, so I'm just gonna hop right into the fighter breakdown. Fuck it, I can talk about his early life. It won't take that long. doesn't have an extensive criminal record or anything like that. Lomachenko was born Vasiliy, I'm not pronouncing his middle name, Lomachenko, on February 17th, 1988. Lomachenko was coached by his father, Anatoly Lomachenko, from a young age. He claims that if his father had not been a boxing coach, he probably would have chosen to play ice hockey professionally. According to Bob Arum in 2017, Lomachenko's father did not let him train for boxing until he attended traditional Ukrainian dance classes. He then went on to do gymnastics before finally getting into the ring. Another reason why Loma has such great footwork, I mean, you probably heard it time and time again. Now let's get into the fighter break. Loma brings his back foot forward and does a quarter pivot in order to get odd angles on opponents. That's his signature angle, taking the weak side angle, switch or whatever. You'll see what I mean. I'll put a clip up of it. Lomachenko can also pivot to the weak side angle via forward step and a half pivot. Lomachenko pre-slips and level changes on opponent. Slip to the right side is to bring backhand closer to op and load lead leg. Level change lowers Loma as a target, loads back leg, and is a precursor to a Loma body shot. Op doesn't react to pre-slip, is too focused on body shot, not even worried about Loma's lead hand. Op backs off, Loma adjusts, will likely feint, level change again, then load up lead leg. Loma half step, foot feints. Op no longer backing up off level change. Loma knows that his op will not think body shot is coming. Next time Loma changes level, he throws rear hand body shot as to keep his opponent guessing and change up his rhythm. Loma uses high guard to entice jab, inside slip, left jab, right cross, left hook combo. Loma doesn't like inside fights. Frame and push every time because Loma doesn't like the rough stuff. Catch and disengage from Loma. Op still not reacting to head slot change from Loma, so he adds backhand to create patterns and make his opponent fall into bad habits. Op drops backhand, important for later, because we'll capitalize on it obviously. Reverse shuffle, get full extension on jab from Loma. Cross and catch parry from Loma. When Loma leans to the front foot, he's not only slipping, but loading up front hand, bring backhand closer to op. When slipping the back leg, loading up back leg for counters. Loma great at weight transfer. If there's one word I can use, one phrase I could use besides, getting that weak side angle change on his opponents is definitely weight transfer is a big part of Lomachenko's style, with those pre-slips and such. Loma uses same sequence he normally would, slipping to the back leg, but switches up punch variation and throws left uppercut. Loma entices straight right by using a head feint, like he's going to slip to the back foot, smothers, then throws lead uppercut and rear hand straight. Duck and pivot. Loma evades backhand from Martinez, Rocky Martinez that is. Control and pivot from Loma. Loma triangle steps but immediately corrects and step shuffles, hop pivots. Loma does an inside slip and loads up back leg for a counter straight left on Ramirez. Lomachenko adds left cross to level change and slip, further complicating the process of figuring out Loma for Ramirez. Loma does a front step shuffle, lands the left cross to the body. Loma rests head on top of Ramirez's head and waits for the ref to break them. Ryan Garcia take notes, when Tank knocked his ass out. Loma entices Rocky Martinez to throw a lazy jab and counters with lead left cross. Loma slips to outside of Rocky Martinez, lead foot, bringing backhand closer and clipping him with straight left. Lomachenko's understanding of lead foot position in the open stance is unparalleled, knowing when to get his lead foot outside his opponents to land backhand, when to put his foot in a neutral position on top of their foot to keep them grounded in inside foot position to land jab. Jab, up jab, feint, and left cross to the solar plexus from Loma. Inside slip 2 partially blocked. from Rocky. Time for Loma to adjust. Basically, straight right. Or straight left, pardon me. Good elbow block to block body shots from Loma. Loma throws jab, then feints left cross to the body. Loma feints level change with left cross, lands overhand left on Rocky Martinez. Immediate jab, joust, southpaw versus orthodox. Loma immediately defaults to high guard, slips to the front foot and loads up lead leg, brings backhand closer to Comey for 1-2 combos. Now we're on Comey. Foot feint from Loma. Slight slip to the back foot to load up backhand in case Comey attempts a penetration step. Loma slipped the jab, then uses fencing jab on Comey. Loma rhythm steps and disengages from Comey. Loma pre-slips to lead foot and loads up 1-2-1 combo on Comey. Loma probing with jab. Loma attempts a forward shuffle penetration step. A lot of Loma's game, besides his footwork, seems to be based on his backhand as well as weight transfer, either slipping to the front foot, bringing it closer to his op, making it land more accurately, or slipping to the back foot to load up backhand for counters. Loma disengages, successfully gets off the forward shuffle and the pivot. Comey smartly disengages, however, doesn't stuff his angle change, one of the only real ways to completely dismantle Loma, and even then it's not completely super easy to just get rid of his angle change. It's never that easy because, as I point out with my next opponent, who's much better than Comey, has much better feet and physical controls than Comey, Linares, it's never just that easy to just get rid of Loma or ruin his game plan, you know? There's more to it than that. But anyway, Comey smartly disengages, however, doesn't stuff his angle change. Loma will take note of this and capitalize later when he gets into more of a rhythm. Loma attempts same sequence. Comey does stuff his angle change by using shoulder control, spinning Loma around and firing off combos when Loma's base is broken. Loma does a sideways shuffle into another attempted angle change to engage. Comey sees this, then clinches. Probably a smarter way to thwart Loma's angle change. Loma slips in a fencing jab on Comey and uses hand frame as measuring stick on Comey. Left hook to the body, C-slot slip from Loma. That's when you bend way over either foot. Loma attempts angle change, decides not to, doesn't want to become predictable since that's his bread and butter. Everyone in the boxing world knows it. Loma throws a left hook to the body, gets angle change off, and uses Matador feint to blind Comey's vision. Basically, a Matador feint is whenever Loma does a forward shuffle into a hop pivot, but before he does the pivot, but in between the forward shuffle and the hop pivot, he'll put his glove in front of his opponent's face to blind their vision, then turn and start landing combos on them. Loma slips to the outside, getting his backhand closer and lands. Loma already finding ways to set up angle change. Loma gets angle change, uses shoulder control, and I say in my next point, Loma now adding in shoulder control to his turn, adapting to the fact that a simple forward shuffle into a pivot might not work. Loma throws soft shots to occupy Comey's guard. Up jab, left hand, left overhand cross, right hook to the head of Comey from Loma. Tells Comey to go back to his corner. Loma tries slipping in range of Comey and gets pieced up. Loma punches with free hand and clinch with Comey. Loma attempts forward shuffle, gets stuffed, but lands straight left on Comey's solar plexus. He loves that straight left to the solar plexus, by the way. That's a southpaw's bread and butter punch, that straight left. Comey disengaging from Loma and nullifies his angle change, even though it doesn't give him an advantage from a positioning standpoint. It still buys him time to think. Comey starting to mirror Loma's level changes, gut on his part, protecting his body. Good step around and pivot from Loma. Loma gets framed by Comey, slips underhook, good counter to a control. Loma squares up stance but immediately regained base. Loma punches out of clinch, then probes Comey's guard, and follows up with left hook and left cross to the face of Comey. Loma does a hot pivot into a left cross to the body, right hook, left hook on Comey, then crosswalks away to disengage. Loma does another angle change, counters Comey's left hook by rolling under, thus nullifying his nullification to Loma's angle change. Basically countering a counter with your feet. Just shows how important footwork is in boxing. Loma catches Comey with his base broken, pre-slips to his back leg, loads up rear hand and rocks Comey, fencing jab, and lands right hook, left hook combo on Comey. Loma shield blocks Comey's shot. Comey pre-slips to the front foot on Comey, no reaction. Comey doesn't fear Loma's lead hand, so Loma falls up with stiff up jab on Comey. Loma attempts weak side shuffle, decides not to take it, shells up against weak onslaught from Comey. Loma squares up stance to get more rotational strength from shots on Comey. Jab, right hook, left cross from Loma. Foot feint from Loma. He's feinting the jab. Just another way to say he's feinting the jab. Loma doing a phenomenal job defending the jab. Constant slipping off the line. Loma frees himself from clinch and shortens up quick left hook on the inside. Good frame from Loma, left hook, right hook to the body, left hook to the body, right hook to the head. Man's fucking hands are fast as hell. Lead left cross from Loma. Loma uses body control on Comey and spins him around to gain advantageous positioning and make him break his base. Loma uses penetration step and lands hard left cross to the body on Comey. One of Loma's mistakes, rhythm steps twice, but not quite in range when it happens. Loma does what I want to call chicken dance. Brings lead foot back, shakes his back leg, brings his back foot forward and shakes his front leg, probably trying to shake off the pain from the body shots from Comey. Still not a great thing to do. Loma remaining defensively responsible whilst in the pocket with Comey. Loma widens stance, gets left cross to the body on Comey's solar plexus. Left cross from Loma, shoulder control into an angle change. Pretty much pedestrian for Loma at this point. Comey lands left hook on Loma to stuff angle change. Something he should have done the whole fight, basically. Loma cross walks forward with left rear uppercut. Good pull from Loma. Loma moves laterally out of orthodox briefly. Footwork is phenomenal as he can move out of either stance. Loma sticks out his lead hand to stop Comey from coming into range on him, almost like an attempt soft frame. Loma lands straight left and rocks Comey again. Overhand left, shoulder control into a forward shuffle pivot, then floors Comey with a very short left hook on the inside once he gets advantageous positioning, which for Loma is mid-range and on the inside since he is a shorter man. Loma then taunts Comey's corner and tells him to stop the fight. This has got to be one of my favorite Lomachenko moments. It's like, I usually don't like showboating, but since he's one of my favorite fighters, I'll give it a pass. But yeah, it's definitely pretty funny the way he just kind of taunted his corners. A little arrogant, but kind of funny. Loma pre-slips as to confuse Comey so he doesn't know which head slot Loma is in. Simultaneously foot feinting, then lands left cross. Loma does forward shuffle, gets weak side angle on Comey, lands left hook, brief clinch, left hook, right hook, shoulder control, turns Comey, repeats bread and butter sequence, forward shuffle in the hot pivot, taunts Comey's corner again. He knew Comey, besides power, Comey was not on his level for sure. Frame left hook to the body from Loma. Loma uses head frame to push Comey in a disadvantageous position, lands left hook, right hook combo on Comey. Loma does a penetration step, slips to the outside, then lands 1-2 on Comey. And one thing I do want to point out about Loma is Loma makes a lot of quote-unquote mistakes or unorthodoxies with his footwork, but his sense of distance and positioning is so good he's able to get away with it, meaning I don't see him making a whole lot of mistakes. I see him doing a whole lot of unorthodox shit and shit that would, for anybody else, would be a mistake, but he's so skilled and his sense of distance is so good, they're more like unorthodoxies than mistakes. He rarely gets caught doing them. Loma switches to orthodox to load, left uppercut on Comey, jab, shoulder control, pivot off from Loma. Loma changes rhythm of punches just to get scoring touches on Comey. Forward shuffle into a left cross. Backhand uppercuts into a soft control on Comey. Guard into a hot pivot. Good swivel jab from Loma. Loma clips Comey with a left cross, disengages and lands a left hook on Comey. Right hook, disengage. Right hook, disengage into a left cross, right jab, left cross combo. Double jab, left cross to the body, jab to the head from Loma. Loma gets framed, smartly disengages. Loma squares up base almost like he needs to use the bathroom. Looked a little funny when he did it there. Loma then properly squares up stance and lands a right hook, left hook combo on Comey. Loma circles away from Comey's head frame. Loma in complete control at this point. Loma clips Comey with a double jab as Comey falls in the hook with Loma. Good pendulum bounce from Loma. Loma slips to the outside and does an attempted forward shuffle. Rings up a rack of ribs on Comey, then finishes upstairs. Jab, left cross, uppercut, hook to the body from Loma. Lomachenko will undoubtedly go down as a future first ballot Hall of Famer. Between his skill set, his ability to overcome adversity, his resume and wins over Jorge Linares and Guillermo Rigondeaux, plus his world title record will no doubt solidify his place in the Hall of Fame. Fightsci signing